I will create the class Parser, and inside it, I will define a tokens variable, which is an array of tokens. For now, it will just be an empty array. Then I will define a current property, which will be a number and it will be equal to 0. Next, I will add an AST property, which is an array of AST nodes. It will store the past nodes from the tokens. Then I will define a warnings property, which will be an array of strings. Let's add some helper methods to this parser, starting with the check function. This will take a type property, which will be of token type, and it will return a boolean. I will pause with the function implementation, and then I will define a pick method that returns a token. This function will return the token at the current position of the cursor, which in this instance is the current property. I will define another method on the parser previous, which returns the token before the current position of the cursor. I will also define another method is at end, which returns a boolean, and this checks if we have consumed all of the tokens simply by checking if the current value is greater than or equal to the length of the tokens array. Next, I will define an advanced function that returns a token. This function will be responsible for moving the cursor. First, we are going to check that we have not gotten to the end of the tokens array, and then we are going to increment the cursor by 1, after which we will return the previous token from the function. Let's head back to the check method, and inside this method, I will return a check that ensures that we have not consumed all tokens from the tokens array, and also that the type of the current token is equal to the type arguments we pass to the function when we call it. Let's add a match method that enables us to match the type of each token and advance the cursor if the type is a valid token. This function will accept an array of token types and it will return a boolean. Inside this function, I will nest a for loop which iterates over the types array, and for each type, we will check if the type matches the type for the current token, and if it is true, we will advance the cursor and return true, which also ends the loop for us. Now it is time to implement the pass block method. This function will return an array of AST node or node. Inside this function, I will first attempt to pass a heading by checking if there's a match in the tokens array using the match method on the parser. If there's a match with the heading, we will obtain the token by calling this.previous, because the match function advances the cursor by 1, and then we have an object with a type property which will be heading, a level property which will be equal to the token.level property. To obtain the children of this heading node, we have to call the pass in line with the token value to obtain the child. Then we will have to pass a new line. So as long as we match a new line, I will just return null.